What's going on, you guys? So check it right. A-Reece just dropped his highly anticipated EP, Business As Usual, and I must say that the rapper truly delivered with this short body of work. Now, before we get started in terms of discussing the music, I think it's necessary that we speak on the artwork cover where we see Reece dressed up in a suit like he's done so previously when it comes to his other works such as P2, the big-hearted bad guy. Now, the cover art definitely makes sense because of the title of the EP and it being effective despite its simplicity. I mean, with Reece wearing the suits to the suitcase containing money, as well as the cash on the floor, while it all speaks to the title of the EP being Business As Usual. So I really appreciate the visual representation that he was trying to convey with this one. Now, when it comes to the sonics, for the most part, Reece jumps on soulful, vibey beats intertwined with those jazzy melodic samples, almost giving that classic boom bap feel to it. I mean, compared to his other works that dropped in the past 5 years, sonically this one has the most calming feel to it, and it actually makes sense considering the topics that he was touching on throughout the EP. Now, the thing is, if you're an individual who listens to music with the main intention of searching for a hit, then this is most likely not the EP for you. And that's okay. I mean, I think it's been well established that Reece is a catalog artist and doesn't make music in hopes of catching a hit. He makes music that speaks to him and knows what will connect with his audience. And there's something to be said about a nigga who doesn't conform to the blueprint of achieving commercial success, but still manages to achieve some level of it. I mean, even though you might not like the guy, you can't help but respect the way he operates. Now, the reason I bring that up is because on the record so much, we have Reece get introspective and reflect on his musical journey, where he speaks on doing things his own way and still being content with the person he is. I mean, he conveys it the best with the opening lines when he says, "So much for putting my heart inside this game, so much for sharing my honesty and the pain, so much for choosing the fortune over the fame. Even after all that, I was able to entertain while hoping I could still look in the mirror the same way, but it doesn't take a lot to comprehend when you genuinely relate." Now, on the record, Reece also reflects on past struggles and contrasts different lifestyles, choosing to use music as a way to guide and inspire others towards change. Despite systematic obstacles designed to hold people back, he emphasizes resilience and action over giving up or complaining. Now, besides that, I also like the message of love and unity that he tries to push with certain references. I mean, we had Reece say the following: "Need to be around some love like Mitch talking to Ace, find me in the club like 50 and Dr. Dre. I'm the one who the locals really embrace. When I decided I gotta get to it, it was only right that I came up with the family unit. Couldn't prove the haters wrong without making improvements." So, a few things, right? Firstly, Reece makes reference to the 2002 movie Paid in Full, where we see Mitch, who is a drug dealer, recruits his friend Ace into the business. Now, their friendship and bond is the central theme of the film, but unfortunately it declines due to the betrayal that we often see in the drug trade. Now, he also makes reference to the 2003 hit song that Dr. Dre produced for 50 Cent with In the Club. And then he also speaks on getting love from the people, or I guess locals, which is true. I mean, there's no denying that his fan base, you know, the Slimes, are genuinely the most loyal fan base in SA hip-hop. But besides that, he also speaks on how when he decided to get back to the music, it was only right that he came up with his family, which is true. I mean, after the passing of their father, we saw Reece and Jody reunite musically and collaborate quite frequently. And now we're seeing both brothers feature their younger brother Cadence as well, definitely making a family unit. And I mean, since then, the nigga has managed to silence a good portion of the noise. Now, with that said, I like the addition of Quasi M because the record already has that cool and calm feel to it, but she really enhances that feeling with her vocals. And I mean, she can really sing her ass off, which was really impressive. So I really appreciated that. Now, moving on to the next record, we have Solo, where it sort of has that soulful, jazzy feel to it. I mean, this record is definitely one for the stoners. And I say that because we hear Reece deliver the same hook repeated throughout the record, where he's talking about smoking premium weed as a spiritual ritual, connecting it with prayer and reflection. Unlike smoking with his bros, this act is done solo as a personal moment of peace and meditation. Now, once again, he enlisted Quasi M for her background vocals, and I must say that it was a beautiful touch. Now, moving on to the next record, we have Losses, where we hear Reece exercise his pen like we know him to usually do. I mean, it's business as usual after all. So with this one, right, we hear Reece first start off by talking about how he's the best ever, TBE like Floyd Mayweather, highlighting his confidence, power, and being highly respected in his craft. He reflects on rising from being unnoticed to being undeniable, commanding recognition and respect in the industry. He also makes mention of how if you're chilling with him, you get that CEO experience, which comes with having to sign NDAs, which are non-disclosure agreements, because he obviously doesn't want his trade secrets or intellectual property being shared with third parties. Now, Reece also seemingly addresses the whole debate that Casper Nyovest brought up on the Altito podcast of whether he would be able to fill up a stadium or not because he's not an A-lister.
A-Reece has a very healthy career. It's niche though. It's very niche. It's good for him and his cult fans. Like he's carved a fan base for himself, and those are his people, and they eat it up, and that's it. But it's been at the same place. It's not A-list, bro. It's not. And I know that A-Reece fans are gonna go at me, but I'm the one guy you can't do nothing to. I'm not scared of A-Reece fans. But A-Reece, when was the last time A-Reece performed in Venda?
I went on your face.
I'm not taking shots. I want to show you something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's nice. It's Mystique. You don't know anything about him. And you know what I mean? When he comes out at the shows, they haven't seen him. And it's great. But when was the last time he performed in Venda or Newcastle? Or Kwamash?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yes, because it's niche. But A-Reece definitely can't do a stadium. Can't. Alone. A-Reece live at Orlando Stadium. It's not a shot. It's a niche.
So in the record, we hear Reece say the following: never filled up stadiums, but the music is filling voids. So with these lines, Reece acknowledges that Casper is right in saying that he hasn't filled up stadiums, but despite that, his music still has deep meaning and purpose, resonating with listeners and providing fulfillment either to himself or his audience. And this is something I mentioned earlier in the video. So in short, the line says, truest success isn't measured by fame or numbers, but by the way the music touches lives and fills emotional emptiness. Now in the second verse, we also hear Reece say the following: I need my payments in cash, money like Young Mula. Y'all ain't drug dealers, you drug users. When you said you sold bass, I really thought subwoofer. You niggas ain't shooters, y'all never shoot Rugers. Bitch, I'm the industry's nightmare, but I'm not Kruger. Rap God, so when you see me, you should sing hallelujah. Now, firstly, right, Reece makes reference to the music labels Young Money, Cash Money, where we saw Birdman and Lil Wayne build an empire with all the artists they managed to sign, such as Drake and Nicki Minaj. I also like the reference and the imagery that he creates when he mentions Freddy Krueger. I mean, he's from the movie A Nightmare on Elm Street, and he would haunt and kill his victims in their dreams. But now it's Reece who is haunting the industry with the unconventional moves that he makes. He also makes himself out to be a rap messiah, because whenever we see him, we should start singing the word of gospel. So I like the contrasting lines, because even though he sees himself as a nightmare, or I guess a problem for the industry, he still sees himself as a man for the people, just like Jesus was. Now, he also takes shots at an individual who I think is Jay Molly. I mean, which individual loves claiming to be a street nigga in terms of being affiliated with certain individuals? Who loves talking about allegedly catching bodies and pulling up on niggas, as well as selling drugs and not needing music to make money? Wow, come on, it's Jay Molly. And Reece subtly makes it clear that he's talking about him when he says, y'all ain't drug dealers, you drug users. And this is reference to the many times we've seen Jay Molly go on his many drug-fueled maniac episodes, where it looks like he's seeking attention or it's just a cry for help. And I mean, that's why Reece is addressing this situation, because Jay Molly tried to go viral by talking sideways about Reece and his girl. Now, besides that, Reece also makes mention of the recent upsurge in the use of bots in the music industry and his dislike for them. I mean, he goes on to say, "These niggas paying for views, wish I could tell sooner. It's me against these bots the whole time. I'm like Del Spooner, to help with the damn rumors." So, with these lines, right, Reece starts off by calling out artists who buy fake streams to appear successful, where he expresses regrets and not noticing the fraudulent behavior earlier. Now, he also makes a clever iRobot reference, comparing himself to Detective Del Spooner, who fought against robots, just like A-Reece sees himself battling bots while staying real. I mean, he dismisses industry gossip and focuses on the truth and integrity. Now, the thing is, are fake streams being utilized in SA hip-hop? Well, I mean, if you have the means to pay for such, like being part of a well-established label, then I think it's most likely. I think right now there's only one name that comes to mind when I hear the word bots. But if I make mention of that artist, I know y'all will say I'm hating, so let's forget about it. But anyways, Reece also pays homage to Drake with the following lines: "This the shit I wanna go out to, play this shit at my funeral." Now, Drake used these same lines on his record Furthest Thing from Nothing Was the Same, but Reece ends up flipping the lines by saying, "This the shit I wanna smoke out to, patience and wisdom is what these losses amount to. I wouldn't have wrote this if Broski ain't taught me how to. How am I running this shit in my robe and house shoes?" Now, with these lines, right, Reece speaks on how every setback or failure isn't wasted. Instead, the losses become lessons that build character and growth. He also acknowledges that he wouldn't be here if it weren't for his brother Jay Jody, since he was the one who inspired, or I guess influenced him to pursue a career in rap. And then he kind of boasts about his position in the game, but in a rhetorical manner, because despite being secluded at home in his gown and slippers, he's still a prominent figure in the game. I guess he knows that he doesn't need to participate in the outside theatrics to gain attention for his music. But with that said, the record is really good. I mean, I'm still having a tough time between choosing this one and the next record that we'll be discussing, which is Scented Candles, Well Done, Dada. Now, sonically, the record has that slow, smooth, and jazz-like inspired vibe to it. I mean, it definitely has that sentimental feel, which makes sense because of the subject matter that Reece was touching on. So, on the record, he first starts off by saying, "Dashing the tequila with San Pellegrino," which is quite ironic because my catalog is Asian like vino. Killing so many verses, I'm about to make rapping illegal. So Reece is pretty much comparing his catalog to wine, because we all know wine gets better the more it ages. So instead of dashing the San Pellegrino with tequila, he should be drinking wine, since it would match the taste of his catalog. And to reinforce that his music is top tier, he makes it known that he's been killing all his verses that he's written, and it's to the point where it should be illegal to rap. Now, he continues by saying, "Yeah, my life's a movie, but somehow niggas slept on the prequel. God, I'm mystified about our journey to 100 from zero. Brought out that hustle in me so I can provide for my people." So with these lines, right, he reflects on being overlooked at first, but marvels at his rise from nothing and emphasizes how hustling allows him to support his people. And he continues by saying, "If I take an L, it comes with another L in a C or a V, like Pharrell Williams designing for Nego." So with these lines, Reece talks about having to deal with losses, but in a slick way though. He states that even though he takes a loss, he's still handling things through an LLC, which protects his wealth and shows he's running things like a company. And I mean, he has Revenge Club Records, which was birthed from the many L's he's had to deal with over the past few years. He also then makes it known that the blows from the losses are softened because they come with luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton, showing that even setbacks are wrapped in success and wealth. He then continues by saying, "If my father was still alive, he'd be proud of his mijo. Putting the family first has always been part of the ethos." Now, with these lines, right, Reece imagines that his late father would be proud of his achievements, addressing himself as mijo, which is Spanish for my son. I mean, it definitely sounds heartfelt and intimate with that emotional weight. And he also emphasizes that prioritizing family is a core value he lives by, showcasing that his success isn't just personal but tied to uplifting the loved ones that are around him. I mean, Jody and Cadence are proof of that. Now, Reece continues by reflecting on his mother's prayers, her struggles, and the bond they shared when he comforted her through poetry. Now, as a 28-year-old father, he embraces the responsibility of raising his daughter, vowing to protect his loved ones, whilst using his words as a powerful weapon to express and defend. Now, I'm not going to lie, this verse really hit a nigga in the realest way, and I say that because I myself just became a father a few months back to a cute baby boy. So hearing Reece speak on his daughter really had me relating to the things he was saying. I mean, the lines that really spoke to me is when he said, "Such a priceless moment just to look at your mother feed you. My life's on the line for the ones I love. I would cause an upheaval." Now, I'm not sure if most of you guys that are watching this can relate, but that imagery that Reece conveyed is so priceless to witness in person, especially being a new dad. Because of that, you really would put your life on the line to protect the ones you love. So this was definitely a beautiful verse in my opinion. And I guess the cherry on top of the cake was hearing Reece at the end of the song sing to his daughter when he was saying, "Da da, da da, da da." I mean, I won't lie, I've sung this to my little man, and I can tell he likes the melodies, so shout out to Reece for that. But besides that, Reece also comes through with the punchlines and the bars. I mean, for instance, we hear him say the following: "Standing tall in the midst of the storm, thought I'd be gone with the wind, thought I'd be losing my grip, thought they were doing me in, but I'm still here growing minoxidil." Now, that last line, "but I'm still here growing minoxidil," while it's a nice play on words. I mean, minoxidil is medication that is used to cause hair growth if you suffer from hair loss. So when Reece says hair growing minoxidil, it also sounds like hair growing minoxidil. Now, I also liked when he said, "You won't break my soul like Solange's sister. Lord knows I'm him like Psalm scriptures." So with these lines, right, Reece makes reference to Beyonce's record Break My Soul, where it's supposed to symbolize his strength and his inability to be broken. Now, the Lord knows I'm him doubles as him, tying his self-belief to the divine power of Psalms, making his very identity feel sacred, powerful, and unforgettable. I mean, he's pretty much suggesting that his very presence, words, and confidence are like a hymn, which are songs of praise. So, clean wordplay once again, but overall the record is a huge standout from the EP. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm having a tough time picking between this one and Losses as my favorite. But anyways, we've got I Don't Give a Fuck, which features K Keed and J Jody. Now this one is more on the vibey side with Reece on the hook, where he pretty much explains why he is the way he is. I mean, he recognizes that niggas online will always try to say some shit to get him out of character, but he's more on the chilled side where he'd rather get off his phone and stay out the way, even though there's a lot he could say where he could put niggas in their place, but because he doesn't have time to waste, he really doesn't give a fuck, which is true. I mean, quite a few individuals online do talk crazy when it comes to Reece because they're either fans of Casper or Nasty, but you never really see him respond back, and now you know why. Now, in terms of Kate Keed, well, she gave an alright verse, nothing really special to be honest. For me, the real highlights on this one was the verse that Jody delivered. I mean, he asserts his resilience, authenticity, and longevity in the game, stressing that he's been grinding longer than many of his peers have even lived. He reflects on the harsh realities he's witnessed, calling out hypocrisy, fake personas, and rappers who rely on cosigns or steal his style. But despite the criticism, lies, and attempts to bring him down, he stays focused, unfazed, and determined to succeed on his own terms. The coldness of his heart represents both the toll of his journey and the mental armor he's built, while his confidence shows in his ability to dominate, stay in his lane, and keep creating without distraction. So definitely a hard-hitting verse if you understand the journey he's been through. I mean, I actually had a conversation with Jody recently at the listening session for the EP, And I must say that everything that he spoke about in this verse are things that he's truly dealing with on a daily basis. And it's unfortunate because this man is arguably one of the most gifted and talented individuals that we have in SA. But his work hardly gets the recognition it deserves. But I know for a fact that the real ones appreciate his craft. And I'm sure we're all looking forward to what he still has on offer for us. Now, getting back to the music, Reece also added Sweatshop Freestyle as a bonus record to the EP, which was a nice addition in my opinion. I mean, we've actually discussed this record in length when it first dropped, so I won't really get into it, but overall it's a dope record. I mean, it's more on the up-tempo side thanks to Kaiser Beats, and you know Reece came through with him talking his shit, so nice record once again. Now, the last record on the EP is Filet Mignon, which features Cadence, and it's another cool vibey record where we have the brothers express their desires, admiration, and intimacy whilst hinting at emotional growth and vulnerability through love. I mean, it's pretty much about passion, secrecy, and opening up emotionally within a romantic connection. Now, with that said, this EP is really good in my opinion. My only criticism is the records that Reece didn't rap on because they were pretty much unnecessary filler which could have been utilized better. But with that said, he truly delivered in terms of what he did give us. I mean, his lyrical ability seems to have improved with him incorporating so many music and movie references into his bars. Plus the punchlines are a lot more clever, so I appreciate that. I'm also noticing that he's intentionally being more versatile. And I say that because he's doing a lot more hooks and giving us more melodies like he initially did a few years back. I also appreciate that he's still giving a platform to artists that aren't fully established, such as Quasi M. I mean, after everything he's been through, you would think he wouldn't, and yet he still does, which is commendable. But all in all, this EP is well crafted. I mean, from the precision and the lyricism to the different topics and subject matter, as well as the craftsmanship and the production. I mean, this is definitely a standout EP, and it's hard to deny it. But with that said, you guys let me know your thoughts on this. Are you enjoying Business as Usual by A-Reece? And if so, what are your favorite records so far? Comment down below. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that like button if you found the content dope, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's on to the next one. Peace.